Hello YouTube. Today I'm just doing a basic tutorial of how to get BYOB in Jeroo. Basically, BYOB is build your own blocks. It's a basic programming environment, and the same with Jeroo. But before you go into Jeroo and understanding the whole coding base, you need to understand BYOB. And BYOB is very basic of programming. It's really it takes a while to know everything about it. That's why we don't need to go so in depth with BYOB before you go into Jeroo, which Jeroo is like basics. It's an objective based programming language and environment, and it's very easy to understand. But first, with BYOB, you're going to want to download it here. I haven't downloaded it on my computer yet. I have it downloaded on my school laptop. But Jeroo, you can download here if you already understand some of this, but you just want to get a head start. And then BYOB is here. You just download it off of this website that I'm showing you here. And I'm going to show you and go through step by step how to download it, because people often find that when you download it off places like this with their own download, or you often find that you get a whole bunch of crap that you don't want. Alright, so especially with stuff like this, if it just says recommended, do not do that. Click on custom setup. Do not install these toolbars. You do not want the toolbars. Stuff like this, depending on what it is, you don't want to accept this, because you do not want great arcade hits. You do not want to accept this great arcade hits, especially if it says something like special offer. Decline that. Special offer. Decline. Your software is downloading. No pop-ups, no toolbars, no viruses, nothing special that I didn't want. I'm only getting the program that I wanted to get. This is one thing that a lot of people really don't understand. But I'll hit you guys back up once this thing is done downloading. I'll make sure that I have the Jeroo download and the BYOB download in the description. When I open up BYOB, I'm going to be teaching you very basic things, how to run programs, what some of the items in BYOB does. So I will see you when it's done downloading. Alrighty, I'm back. It just got done, so click on install now. Destination folder. You can download it anywhere you want, but I prefer to download it to my desktop. I'm going to put it inside my Jeroo file, which I will quickly turn that into just programming, just basic programming stuff. Let's see. So extracting all these files, which this is not the long part. That took about 5-10 minutes. I don't think it took that long. You guys know better than I did, because you saw it, the time jump in the video. If you want to go back and prove me wrong. Let's go down here, because I did get Jeroo. BYOB did not go to the Jeroo file, and now I have no idea where the Jeroo file is. That's funny. Well, hey, it is what it is. Alright, so this is what BYOB looks like. Very basic programming environment. So basically you have what is called a sprite. The sprite is what your object is. This is objective based, just like everything else, but you don't create things. You create things from this area. Create things from this area and create costumes. You do not create things through coding. You can hide things and show things, but you do not do that. So I'm going to draw something new. Basically, what I'm going to draw is not that. It's not what I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw an arrow, basically, but I have a special way of doing it. Just take a box, just draw it like this, just draw it out. You're going to rotate it to where it's sideways. Maybe it has to be a perfect box. I think it has to be a perfect box. Yeah, it has to be perfect. Let me go ahead and make this perfect. Sigh. Alright, so let's take... Right, no... That seems about right. Alright, so then, like I said before, just rotate it and then cut it off. That's not the best in the world. I've done better. Alright. Now let's rotate the whole entire thing. Alright, you know what? I give up. I'm gonna draw it out myself. I'm gonna take this, draw a line out, take that. Normally I don't do it that way, but hey, it is what it is. So basically, with this sprite right here, and I'm not gonna use costume changes yet. The green flag signals to run the program. Spacebar is another way you can signal to run your program, but you can also use other things, like if, for instance, never mind, I will get into this later. For starters, you need to learn what the forever loop does. Basically, if I wanted him to move up, let's say 10 steps, alright, move 10 steps. I'm getting ahead of myself. These are the scripts for Sprite 1. If I were to create a new sprite, and I were to put something else in here, this would work for this sprite. But this is the scripts already for this sprite, and it doesn't work for any other sprite except for that sprite. So basically, you have move 10 steps. Alright. Matter of fact, costumes, edit. This is not the right direction to be facing. Face it that way. So basically, if I click move 10 steps, he moves across the screen. But if I put it inside a forever loop, he does that forever until he runs off the screen and he stops. In order to start a program, you need to use when green flag is clicked or when spacebar is pressed. So basically what happens is if you put this in the forever loop, you have a way of just clicking the spacebar and the whole entire program runs. And if you have a certain place you want everything to start off, you can use under motion, you can use the go to command. I'm gonna take this guy and put him where I want him to go. And so let's find his location. That is his location. Is that not his location? That is not his location. Let's type in his location. His location is right up here. So dash is your negative, and then 194. Then over here at Y, you're gonna put 98. So basically, every time the spacebar is pressed, he goes back to that location and reruns everything. But in order for the script to be stopped, you either have to have a stop script command, stop all command, or you have to click pause, then click space again. Or you can click, my bad, not pause, just stop, and then click it again. There's something called an if command. An if command is something where you use a conditional, either sensing or some operators. It's where you put a conditional in. If you put a conditional in, you can say if this sprite, okay, if this sprite, hold on, got a little ADHD, not ADHD, OCD, I might be ADHD, I don't know, but I know I'm OCD. If touching anything, you put edge, mouse pointer, or you can put something in there. If touching, for instance, if touching whatever the answer was to a question, which is like it'll ask something. If touching mouse X or mouse Y, which I'm not entirely sure what that's about. If touching, let's see, none of these are good examples. If touching, golly. Basically, you can say if touching colors, if touching colors, but that would just completely replace the whole entire thing. where is it? If touching, basically you can touch another sprite, but I don't see it for some reason. There's a way to do that. But anyways, I'm gonna do if touching edge for now. Inside the forever loop, because if you don't put it inside of a forever loop, you just put it outside, then this is only going to run once. It's only going to look at this if statement once, and then it's going to go on to the forever loop. But every single time it goes through this, you want it to go through the if loop. Move 10 steps, and then check if this is touching the edge. So basically it's going to move 10 steps, check, move 10 steps, check, move 10 steps, check. But once it actually does touch the edge, it's going to say if touching edge. You want him to rotate. Let's take rotate. Or you can just do change direction. Let's do change direction. Point in direction left. No, I think rotate would be better because I don't want him to just go left and then get stuck right there. I want him to keep going back and forth. So we're going to turn him 180 degrees. Oh, that is actually pretty cool because he just keeps going around. But yeah, I do kind of want to change it to 180 to make him go just back and forth. Click the spacebar and he goes back and forth. And also you can set his starting direction after, like, right after you click space to set right, and then he'll just go back and forth on the screen. You can also make this random to make it kind of just like go randomly all around the screen. Do pick random, and then while it's touching the edge, you want to go from anywhere from 160 to 200, let's say. So then you stop the script, run it again, and he'll just choose random directions to start flying off in. You can also broaden this, and it'll just kind of like go in random directions. I like to do this when I'm making a Pong game, but that is one of the problems, especially with an arrow. The arrow can kind of lag a little bit because the arrow, if it gets stuck, then it will kind of lag out like it just did 2 seconds ago. Something else that is important to understand in this is that this is a program where you can make games and stuff. Jeroo, however, is just animation based, as far as I know. There could be some possible way to make games off of Jeroo, but as far as I'm concerned, it's more of an animation based and Boolean methods, just objective based. This is also objective based, but you can make programming where you can press buttons. For instance, when spacebar is pressed, you want to activate to where it's always checking this if statement. You need to make sure, unless you only want it to ask the if statement once, but you need to always make sure that this if statement, is always going to be being checked. So basically, I'm going to be putting in here that if key, up arrow is pressed, I want him to face up. Okay, so let's say I want him to face up, point in direction up, and move 10 steps. And keep in mind, this is in forever loop. So if I press the space bar and move up, he's going to move up every time I press the up arrow. Now, if you want to duplicate this, move it down, change this to the down arrow, change this to direction down. This way, once you click space, he moves up and down at however you want him to. It just doesn't matter. You can do this for every direction. Left, duplicate, right, change this to left, change this to right, and now you have a fully functional moving sprite. And I find this really cool because you can just move them all the way around the screen. And one thing, when I very first started this program, I fell in love with it because I found out I could write things. And this is really cool. Just put pin down, simple as that. That way, you can draw on it. It's really cool. If you want to make it a little less choppy like it is, take your steps down. And this also ties into variables now. Going into variables, you can create a variable and tie it into anything. I'm gonna talk about this a lot more in later videos. You're gonna name this variable speed. A variable is a number that can be tied to virtually anything. Basically, what I'm gonna do with this variable is put speed in each one of these, and I'm gonna set the variable at the very beginning of the code. As you will see, set speed. You're gonna set speed to whatever speed you want him to move. Okay, so basically, when this is pressed, speed moves to 4, and that's how fast he moves. See how it looks less choppy? And then, if you want to lose that, make it go down to 2. You could make it go down to 2 if you wanted to, and that looks a lot less choppy. You can also, in order to prevent choppiness, change pin size, or set pin size to about 3. It doesn't make it too big, but it doesn't make it too small. That way it's a little less choppy looking, a little more full. You can also make a Tron game. I've made a Tron game with pony sprites, because they have a pony in this game, in this programming environment. This is just really basic stuff, because there's tons of stuff to go over, and I'm hoping to cover basic stuff with you guys within about 5 videos. So if you didn't get anything, just email me. I'll leave my email up. I'll leave my Facebook up. You can contact me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I think I just said that. You can also inbox me a video of a question you have, anything you really want, and I will respond to it. Comment. I'll make a video on something that you need to know with this. And if there's anything I forget to mention in the description, just let me know. And there are tons more things you can do with this programming language that I just cannot cover in one video. Simply, it's just impossible. So I will talk to you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this somewhat decent video of programming, it's not much. It's getting away from a little bit of gaming, just making my own games. And if you're not taking computer science, or if you're like in middle school or maybe even high school, you're just not taking computer science and you want to learn a lot of this programming stuff, come to my channel. Go to other people's channels. I'm not just saying stay here. Go to other people's channels, and you can learn a lot more on BYOB, which is build your own blocks. You can learn a lot more on everything on Jeroo, and Jeroo will be coming up in the next 5-10 videos. So like I said 2 minutes ago, and I love repeating myself, please comment, rate, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed, and peace out.